Hi and welcome to the Don't You Forget About the 80's YouTube channel, and I'm Sobel Basilisk. Joining me is my colleague Jacob from Johnny
Howdy.
Loco. How you doing, Jake?
Not bad.
Cool. And yeah, we're here to do some reviews, rumours, gossip from the 1980s. If you haven't joined the channel before, let's give you a quick overview of what we do. We take each week a perhaps iconic or less well-known vinyl release from the 1980s, and we do what we would call a review, which most people will probably think is a very loose term for a review because we tend to go off in some strange tangents.
Yeah, they're interesting.
Yeah,
they definitely are.
Exploring the exciting times that were my youth in the 1980s.
Yeah, I think
while mixing in the music.
What basically happens is you tell me about what happened in the 80s and I question the morals and the...
Yeah, you try and prove that it
standing of
didn't
it
actually
all.
happen, and what I'm telling you is like a web of lies and intrigue.
It sounds like it's a lot of lies.
It isn't, though. I can verify it and have witnesses that I can bring onto this channel to tell you it was true.
Well, hopefully you can bring them on at some point.
I will do, and hopefully you will be meeting some of them in the not too distant future. So this week we are looking at what I would personally feel is one of the most finely crafted albums of the 1980s, and that is ABC's The Lexicon of Love.
Lovingly crushed against the wall
Lovingly
behind
crushed
us.
against the wall behind us. Fortunately, it doesn't have the vinyl in it.
No, it's all right.
It's all right. So, yeah, we're going to be talking about The Lexicon of Love. And, yeah, where do you want to start?
I think the best place to start is maybe the background of the band.
So,
I'd rather go through that.
yeah, let's talk about ABC first. Now, there is... We said at the start of this podcast that there's the odd rumour that comes around. And there is a rumour that was quite widely spread in the early 1980s that ABC were actually a group crafted in a laboratory by the Jackson 5. Is it true? It's hard
This
to
is
tell.
just one of those things that you can get one of your witnesses on and go,
Yeah.
oh yes, actually I saw Tito and Jermaine go backstage and
It wasn't
fiddle
actually
with
backstage. So Tito and
with a few
Jermaine
people.
actually were the instigators of the rumour. So they in the
You're
house.
saying they spread the rumour
No.
themselves?
So, well, what happened was, you see, they had a shed in the back garden of the house they lived in with mum and dad and the other Jackson clan.
Yeah.
And they would go out to the shed at night after little Michael had been put to bed, and they would mess around with chemicals and stuff.
Cool. Very scientific.
Chemicals
and stuff.
and stuff.
Right.
And stuff, because I don't know enough about the scientific world to understand properly what it was they were doing. You know, we'd have to ask Tito and Jermaine that.
But you do know it was possible to create a band.
It was
through
in the
science.
late 1970s. Technology had moved on to such an advanced state that you could actually create a band with chemicals stuff.
It just so happened this band was ABC,
Well, you need to understand where that
which
came from.
fell right at the front of the vinyl's alphabetical section.
Well, that was some clever thinking.
Well done to
But that
Jermaine
came-
and Tito.
No, this was Michael. You see,
Oh,
what
sorry,
happened was,
Michael.
yeah, well, you see, Michael had been put to bed. He's
Yeah.
up in the front bedroom, the small bedroom at the front of the house,
Smallest of the
the
rooms.
smallest bedroom. Yeah, you
of
had to
course.
go. You actually had to go through Tito and Jermaine's room to get to Michael's room because it was like a bolt-on room
What a
at the
poor
front of the
kid.
house. I know,
Shame how he turned out.
and so Michael's up in bed. He knows that Tito and Jermaine should have been in bed by 9 o'clock. So he's laying there. Where on earth are Tito? It's 9:10. And they're not in bed. This isn't right. So Michael pops his slippers on, creeps downstairs,
Yeah.
through the kitchen, out to the back door, and sees a light under the shed door.
Ooh,
What are they
ominous.
doing, he thinks. Creeps down the garden, opens the door, and there is Tito and Jermaine fiddling around with their chemicals and stuff. What are you doing here, Michael? You should be in bed. What are you two doing? We're making a new supergroup. Really? Well, I went in on this. And the outcome is that to buy Michael's silence,
Right.
Tito and Jermaine had to let him name the band. Michael's favourite song at the time was ABC.
ABC, because he'd just been singing it.
Yes, it's in his head. He got one of those, like, those, when the song gets in your head, you can't get it out.
Yeah, I do know that.
Yeah, so
and that's what he had.
He had that, and he said, "Let's call it ABC." Actually, at the same time, thinking to himself, "This is really good because it's the ABC. They'll be the first vinyl that people come to in the record shop."
Yeah.
Brilliant.
What a genius.
What a genius.
But he did diddle kids.
What?
He did do that.
What?
Michael Jackson.
Did what?
He diddled kids.
I don't want to go there.
He did. He did that. So you can't really call him a genius.
Yeah. He also enjoyed Lucozade tablet.
That's a Bo Selector reference.
Anyway, there is that rumour.
Yeah.
Not sure if it's true. I prefer to go with the official line that ABC were actually the origins of a band called Vice Versa in 1978. Started by Stephen Singleton.
Whoa, what a segue. Okay.
And Mark Fry. Did you like the way I did that?
Mark Fry. Are you sure? I don't think you know this guy's name at all. So we did a run through. I need to tell all the audience. We did a run through just to make sure the facts were right. You know everything about 80s music, yet you still called him Stephen Fry and then Mark Fry, and you had it so much confidence. So it was Stephen Singleton and Mark Fry.
Mark White.
Mark White.
Mark White. Let's try that again.
Yeah,
Stephen Singleton and Mark White start a band called a synth pop duo called Vice Versa, 1978. Okay. They meet.
Who do they meet?
They're university students in the important city of.
Should I know?
You should know. Sheffield.
Oh, out of the top back, yeah. The back of my mind was Sheffield.
Sheffield. The Steel City, Sheffield.
Is that actually what it's called?
Oh, that's what it was called, yeah, because it was like famous for producing steel.
I thought it was called the Little Smoke.
That's like a tiny cigarette, isn't it?
It is also that. The Big Apple, that's Sheffield.
That's New York.
Oh. The Windy City.
Chicago.
B-Town.
Birmingham.
That's all the city nicknames. What's
Okay.
Coventry's?
Ghost Town.
Ah, yeah.
It's full of ghosts.
It was.
It's haunted.
Because no one goes out there anymore. Not even the specials.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so they start
They were at
this
uni in Sheffield.
Yeah, they're at
They
uni in
start
Sheffield.
Vice Versa.
They start Vice Versa, and they meet a guy running a fanzine. Now, in the 80s,
So what's a fanzine?
a fanzine. It is. There wasn't the wide, so you didn't have digital access in the 80s. There wasn't like the internet and all that, access to Google and that kind of stuff. So if you wanted to get information about local bands known, and you couldn't get it into like the big, major glossy magazines that were out at the time, you would make up your own magazine called a fanzine, and you'd probably print it off at a local college, very cheaply, and then you'd sell it for like 20 pence or something, and it just had loads of local information about what was going on, what bands were playing where. You might have done an interview with a local band. So the guy running it was Martin Fry, who became the lead singer of ABC, and he probably would have covered one of Vice Versa's gigs and written a piece about it.
Right.
Stuck it into his fanzine, which was called Modern Drugs.
And then obviously went on to do the fanzine.
So he met.
Quite interesting.
He met Stephen Singleton and Mark White.
Nice.
And Martin Fry. That's
You
Martin.
got all their names right.
I did,
time.
yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah.
He then joined ABC. So ABC's, quite interestingly, first tour supporting the Human League. The very early incarnation of the Human League.
Right.
And we'll come on to the Human League in another podcast, because there are 2 albums that we need to talk about in the history of the Human League, but we'll talk about those at another time.
So that'll be a 2-part special.
That'll be a 2-part special. And so Vice Versa support the Human League, and then they changed the name to ABC. Something a bit more memorable.
Yeah.
Probably been on the phone to Tito and Jermaine, who'd said to them, Michael says you've got to change the name,
Yeah,
and it's going to be ABC.
it's got to be.
Got to be. So they become ABC,
Yeah.
and they start writing songs as ABC. They get signed up by Phonogram, big record label at the time. Phonogram have an in-house producer, Trevor Horn. Trevor Horn had also been in a band called Buggles.
What?
Buggles.
Buggles.
Yes.
Is this Bugles?
No, Bugles.
Oh, I'm just checking that it wasn't bugles. And
I like the crisps.
I mean, the instrument. The crisps are named after the instrument, you idiot. like the crisps. A bugle's a brass instrument, which the crisps are named after.
Are you sure?
Oh,
Are you sure that some guy working in a brass factory
there's a crisp that's shaped like this.
He was thinking to himself, I've been working in this brass factory for 20 years. I'm going to create a musical instrument because music is my passion. Music is my first love.
Yeah.
But before I start inventing a musical instrument, I feel like some corn-based snack. Goes down the newsagents, gets himself a packet of bugles, goes back to the factory, opens the packet of bugles, gets one out. Oh, that's an interesting shape.
Yeah.
That would make a good instrument. I know. When I make my brass instrument, I'm going to call it a bugle.
I'll hammer my brass into the shape of a bugle.
And that's what he did.
In the 14th
So how do you
century.
know that? Yeah. Okay.
They had bugles in crisp packets.
But they were in paper then, paper bags.
Of course, crisps did it. Yeah, they were in paper bags back in the 14th century.
Yeah. It was a
Probably
delicious,
later than that, actually.
delicious snack, and they were
16th.
the flavours weren't as they are now. So you never had like salt and vinegar, your cheese and onion, your smoky bacon.
Yeah,
It was
just-
sparrow, finch, earthworm,
And the
eel.
poorer flavour for the more common folk. Shit and piss.
Yeah, that was the flavour.
Flavoured
That was the
bugles.
flavour of the streets.
Yeah.
Literally.
band.
Yeah. Birmingham.
Yeah.
Mike Skinner.
City of Steel.
Mike Skinner. City of Steel. Birmingham. So
He was in a band called Boggle.
Buggles,
Buggles.
not bugles. Buggles.
Not Boggle, the game.
Yeah. That's boggle.
Oh, Boggle, not Boggles.
Boggle.
Right, okay.
Isn't that where you shake all the letters up
Yeah,
in like
into a grid.
cube? It's really noisy.
Yeah, it's
Really hurts your
shit,
ears.
to be honest, as well.
Why? It's a good game.
It's not that good.
It is. It is like
okay.
when you're kids,
Yeah, it's
you're
all right
young
when you're
playing it.
kids.
It's a good way to, do spelling
It's
and stuff.
basically the training to Scrabble.
It's
It's what you make your kids play, so you train them for
It's
Scrabble.
the first step, isn't it? That's your first step on the road to Scrabble.
Yeah. Beginner's Scrabble.
I wouldn't say,
Boggle.
I wouldn't say it's really beginner's Scrabble. I'd say more it's like a stepping stone
Okay.
than a beginner.
Yeah.
It's to get you in that frame of mind, the mindset, the Scrabble mindset.
So you're saying it's like the starter. So you sit down for the evening and you go, so the starter tonight is Boggle, the main course is Scrabble.
Yeah. And for
And
dessert,
Pictionary.
I
What are
don't
the
see-
word
I don't
games
see
are there?
Pictionary of being as a dessert, do you?
Well,
I'd see dessert.
it's pretty fun.
Uno would be a dessert.
Uno.
Yeah.
No, if we're talking a 3-course meal of word-based
Yeah.
games, Uno's letters. Numbers. Sorry.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, you just make words. What's the Uno?
Uno?
Yeah.
It's cards, and you've got 1 to 4 on them. Or something like that, or 1 to
Are you sure?
something. In the different
Well,
colours.
there's a card version of a letter version of that anyway.
There's definitely... What are you talking... No, there's not.
Probably called Wordo.
Wordo.
Anyway,
It's not.
so all right, then in that case we'll go for Snap.
Alright. Fuck it, that can be a dessert game. So he was in Buggles.
Yeah, so he's a well-known producer, known for being able to take bands and create some extraordinary sounds.
Right.
So he sees something in ABC, and you can actually hear a lot of ABC's early demo tracks if you buy the CD version of the Lexicon of Love. There's a CD called the Luxury Edition with 2 CDs, and the second disc has got a lot of the demo tracks on it. So you can hear ABC before Trevor Horn took them and helped them shape themselves into the sound that became synonymous with the Lexicon of Love.
Oh, cool.
And what he did was he brought in a musical orchestral director called Anne Dudley, and they brought in an orchestra and put a lot of orchestration onto the album, which was a completely new direction. So I think it's probably what we need to talk about now is what was going on in the UK in 1982.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea to preface what's
So 1982. So what's happening in the UK in 1982?
I'll let you cover that, I don't know it.
Yeah, a lot of discontent in the country at the time. We've got a very strong Conservative government that many people felt were taking all the nationalised industries and privatising them.
Mm-hmm.
There were strikes going on all over the place. The miners were on strike. The NHS were on strike. And on top of that, it was a war in the Falklands.
Oh, of course.
So, yeah, Las Maldinas. The UK was at war with Argentina over the Falkland Islands.
Right.
So there was a lot of strife going on in the country. So there's a lot of unhappy times. Unemployment was sky high. I think it was into 5-6 million by that time. People unemployed.
Really?
Yeah, really bad. It was a really bad time for people. Trying to get jobs and stuff.
5 to 6 million. Wow.
And then along comes this band ABC with
the Lexicon of Love.
The Lexicon of Love.
And suddenly, everyone was employed. As soon as this
Jobs
came out.
galore.
Because everyone had the job of listening to the album, right?
They did. Little did they know that they would be going on to make podcasts 40 years later. So Lexicon of Love. Beautiful album.
Yeah.
Very slick production. Lots of orchestration. Combined with very slick, funky bass lines. Really danceable songs. And Sir Martin Fry, really clever songwriter. Some of the lyrics, really, really clever. The way he uses rhyming and brings subjects into songs, very, very clever man. So let's talk about the album.
We are.
Let's talk about side 1.
Okay.
Side 1. So side 1 opens with a track called Show Me.
Yeah.
Very funky, slapping bass with all the orchestration. Great song to open. It's one of those songs that powerful, hits you straight away.
Yeah.
And goes very neatly into track 2, which was ABC's.
Oh, he's reaching down.
ABC's second single, Poison Arrow.
Poison Arrow.
Poison Arrow.
I know that song.
You know this song, and as you can see, a very nice reverse. It's got a little bit about Martin Fry on the back.
I mean, you've got to remember that some people aren't watching the video.
Yeah, so if you're listening to this on Spotify,
you've got a weird woman on the front, and she's got a curl of hair that needs to be put into place.
Yeah, and she's got 3 arrows, and there's a guy faking being dead behind her.
I didn't even recognise him. I didn't even realise he was there.
Yeah, that's Martin Fry.
Her face is quite unusual.
Yeah, I don't know who she is. It is quite an unforgettable face, isn't it? It's almost kind of like.
You told me there was someone called Vanderpump.
So in the video of Poison Arrow was a B-movie starlet called Lisa Vanderpump, who now is in one of those programs that happen to be on one of those channels like ITV or whatever it is, and it's one of those housewives of somewhere or other.
Oh yeah, I know the one.
Yes,
they scream at each other.
There's a lot of shouting, isn't there? There's a lot of anger. Have you not noticed
yeah,
on that program?
there is.
There's a lot of angry women, aren't there?
Well, I don't frequently watch it, I'm afraid, but when it's been on,
yes,
I've walked past it and it's flicked through channels and it's there.
And they're always shouting.
They're always shouting at each other.
They're always angry.
And they're always shouting things like, I'm angry. Like, they state what they are.
Yes.
And you can tell what they are.
And I'm angry because I have lots of anger.
Yeah. And then the other one goes, me too.
Yeah, but why are you angry? I'm more angry than you because I've got
my surname's Vanderpump!
So she's probably a multi-millionaire now. She's even got her own TV program, I think, about her and her family.
Brilliant.
And her lovely little husband, Ken.
Ken. Is he a bit of a mousy husband? He keeps in the corners of the room.
I think he wears pink jackets.
What does that mean?
He just wears pink jackets.
Oh, right, okay.
I don't think there's any kind of hidden meaning to it. Just his...
Well, good for him.
He wears pink jackets. So, interesting thing about Poison Arrow I need to tell you about. So, let's have a little bit of a melancholy moment.
Okay.
I know it's like not the done thing, but I think we need to... It helps us put into context.
All right, we're going to have a sad point on the
Yeah,
podcast.
sad point. So, I'm 14. I've got my first serious girlfriend.
Hold on. This is a 14-year-old sad.
Yeah.
This isn't a now sad.
No.
This isn't a fully grown adult.
No,
sadness.
this is an angst-filled teenager. I write a lot of poetry in my bedroom.
Oh, wow.
Sad.
Call off the sadness. We don't need to be sad on the podcast anymore. Right, so you've got a girlfriend, you're 14.
Yeah, and I've recognised for a couple of weeks that things haven't been quite right.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, the kissing's not the same as it was at the start. And she doesn't seem quite as enamoured in those little gifts that I keep buying her. Like the little smelly thing that goes on the end of your pencil.
What are you getting at? What?
And,
Is this what relationships were at that age for you?
She wasn't as impressed when I picked out a certain love heart for her, out the packet of sweets. Like, be mine forever.
What are they called?
What, love hearts?
Yeah, what kind of sweet is that?
It's like a chalky, sugary...
They have a name, don't they? I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah, love hearts.
No, like that kind of sweet has a name.
Does it?
Begins with an L, I think.
Love hearts.
Shut up. Okay, so for you, this was the Lexicon of Love hearts.
Yeah, it was. I like the way you did that.
Thank you.
So yeah, I've noticed that things aren't quite right in my own 14-year-old way.
Yeah.
And we're at a party, and we're dancing to Poison Arrow, and there's a line in Poison Arrow where Martin Fry says, "I thought you loved me, but it seems you don't care." And the female on the single retorts, "I care enough to know I could never love you." So I'm dancing with this girl, thinking,
oh, and you hear these lyrics.
I think that's a great line. I'm going to sing that line to her when we're dancing to this song. So we're at this house party,
no.
we're dancing to Poison Arrow,
Oh, no.
and I turn to her and go, "I thought you'd love me, but it seems you don't care."
You said it to her.
Thinking that she's gonna turn around and say, "Oh yes, I do. You've got it wrong."
Right.
Oh, how wise of you to use the lyrics of a song to question our relationship.
And what did she say in response?
She said,
she
said, with quite a lot of venom, I seem to recall at the time, "I care enough to know I could never love you." Gutted.
I love the idea of you dancing to Poison Arrow, which is quite an upbeat song.
It is, yeah.
Going... doing that, saying that line, she responds and you stop.
I think I probably didn't just stop. I probably went over the turntable, ripped off my
was your
single.
record?
It was my vinyl.
Okay.
It was probably that one.
Oh. Okay.
And thinking,
Stormed out.
right, I'm going home for a good brood.
I can't believe you'd say this to me.
Yes, I'm going to go home and
You said
brood.
the second line to me. And she just tried to impress you the whole time. She just thought, oh, I'm going to show him how much I love his company. I'll say the second line. He said the first one.
It just didn't,
we can sing it
didn't
together.
seem like that at the time. And lo and behold, it didn't. So after a couple of days of good old brooding and listening to Poison Arrow probably about 1,000,000 times in my bedroom,
Making notes.
Yes.
Doing the thing on the wall where you put pictures of her up in different locations.
We didn't really do that.
No one actually does that.
Oh,
That's not a thing we do today. That's what serial killers do.
How did you know about it then?
It's on TV.
Oh, okay. So yeah, probably wrote a few poems about it.
Got away with that one.
Yes. Yeah, I've seen your storyboards, Jacob. Yeah, so probably sat and wrote a few sad poems about it and tried to show those off to my English teacher, who wasn't impressed. Don't know why I put that in there.
She also said,
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah, who had a crush on at the time. And she married the maths teacher. I never understood that.
You don't work for each. You don't fit together.
Yeah.
One's like numbers, the other likes letters.
Yeah, it's wrong. It's like
I like both.
It's like Scrabble and Uno.
I write poems, not algebra.
It's like Scrabble and Uno. How did you do that? So I went round to her house and said,
Oh dear.
Poison Arrow, ABC. I said to you, I thought you loved me, but it seems you don't care. And she said, no, you're right, I don't. And it's over. See ya.
Oh,
Killer.
that's a harsh way to go.
So, well, it happens.
But you were fine after that.
No. I probably dwelt on it a little longer than I should have done. Dwelt.
Nice.
Yes.
Okay.
Probably went back and had another good brood.
Nice. All these words.
Yeah.
You're using.
When I had some more angst in my bedroom.
Yeah.
So, Poison Arrow, great single. Second single, got to number 4 in the UK charts.
Cool.
Slides very nicely into the song Many Happy Returns, another really good funky dance tune, full of orchestration. Hopefully, if we can pull it off, we should have some of these tracks playing in the background. If we can get round
Yeah, probably.
Lord YouTube's copyright rules.
Yeah.
And then that neatly follows track 4, which was ABC's first debut single, or was their debut single. Tears Are Not Enough, released in 1981, got to the giddy heights of number 19 in the UK charts.
Wow.
And the side 1 finishes with the track Valentine's Day, which is another really great track, full of orchestration. Another great. It's very reminiscent of Show Me, the first track, just to finish side 1 off with lots of.
So it starts how it ends.
Yeah, it's really good.
Okay.
So, side 1's over. You've had your tray of malted milk biscuits. Your mate's mum's brought you a nice cup of coffee, hopefully,
Right.
if you've got it sorted. And flip the vinyl over.
Flip the vinyl.
Flip the vinyl
for
over.
Side 2.
Side 2.
Do you know something I realised?
Yeah, what?
CDs never had a side 2.
No, but then CDs. So, that's probably a really good question, actually, because that leads very nicely into why this podcast has come about and why specifically vinyl. So what's the big difference between vinyl and CD? People are always comparing the two, aren't they?
Yeah.
You've listened to both.
Yeah, I know the background of most of them.
Yeah, I mean, music's
in a technical sense.
you've got a technical music background anyway.
Yeah.
So, but to you, listening,
Yeah.
the difference between putting a CD on and putting a vinyl record on, what do you feel the difference is? Just from a listening point of view, first of all, not from an aesthetic, just from listening. Do you feel there's a difference? Can you feel it?
I don't know what you mean by feel. There's definitely well, not definitely. There's a slight difference. You have the crackle of vinyl.
Yeah.
So you've got, because it's all the way they're made is basically analog.
Yeah.
So you've got the crackle in it. It's a bit low. It's not as high definition as the CD is.
Yeah.
And it also has a slight wooden sound. It's got
So
a
it's not
timbre of wood, I guess.
Oh, I like that.
Timbre.
Timbre.
There's a good
Timbre.
musical
Timbre
term.
of wood.
Well, it is. It's got a wooden timbre, I'd say.
Yes. I have those in the morning.
Wooden timbre. What's that, muesli?
Yeah.
It's not, is it?
So, some would say that vinyl has a warmth to it, a warmth of sound.
Yeah, it does.
So a CD can feel very clinical and very cold because it is digital and it's a clean, pure sound. Whereas with vinyl, you do get all the cracks and pops and the hissing.
That's what makes
but
it.
But you also get, when you put the needle down, it's really, I've played 2 tracks, one after another, a CD track and a vinyl track, and the vinyl has a real warmth of sound. And I don't know what the technical expression for that is. You probably
that warmth is, that is the
is
right.
It is a real
that's how you
sound,
describe
technical
it.
term for. So
It's, more or less, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a warmth of sound. So vinyl was the only medium available, from up till, I don't know when CDs came out. Was it like
You had tapes in the middle of that as well.
Yeah, so CDs mid-80s, sort of kind of.
I
when
have
they
no
first started to
idea.
appear?
I thought it was early 90s.
Yeah, don't know. don't know. I never will find that out.
Yeah.
But yeah. So the whole point of these reviews are because vinyl was the medium, of course, cassettes as well.
Yeah.
And vinyl, first of all, the sound has that warmth, but also look at this.
Yeah, that's
It's that whole.
the nice thing about it is the size,
Yeah.
and it feels like a real product. You get your
Absolutely.
small CD, it's flimsy plastic case, feels all a bit just.
But there's nothing to look
Blair.
at, is there? I mean, you might be able to try,
Get the sleeve
try and
out.
get that booklet out.
I
First
hate
of all.
doing that.
Get
Getting
it-
the
it'll-
sleeve. What do you call it? You call it a booklet?
Yeah, it's a booklet sleeve, whatever it is. You try and get that out. It inevitably rips.
Yeah. It's got
Doesn't
those
it?
stupid little hooks on the
Yeah,
inside, and they always
little-
catch on it.
Yeah. CD makers, get rid of those stupid little tags that hold the booklet in.
Yeah.
Because we rip them when we take them out.
Just don't put them in.
Yeah, don't put them in.
Just don't sell CDs. Get rid of CDs.
Bring back vinyl.
Yeah. I think, well, that is what's happening.
Yeah,
I
it
think,
is, isn't it?
anyway,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you purchase vinyl now, don't you?
Modern.
Some of
Yeah,
your-
tracks that come out today, yeah.
So I know we were recently listening to.
It was moody good.
Yeah, that sounded brilliant
There's, yeah.
on vinyl. Really good.
Especially with that, because it's electronic music, but today.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more bass in them.
Yeah,
The bass
yeah.
is very heavy compared to a lot of 80s tracks. So they have to do a lot of clever manipulation of the code of the song before
Yeah.
they print it to vinyl. Because if they were to print it normally,
Yeah.
as the track's made, the way that they put the groove, because you know the vinyl works by, it has like it looks like a it's like a trough between two mountains.
Yes.
Like that kind of
Like
like
a valley.
fissure
Yeah.
that goes all the way around. It jags
Yeah.
all the way around, and that's what makes the song play. But if it's too bass heavy, that bass interrupts the rest of the high end stuff in the cracks.
Ah.
So you have to like recode to make it print properly.
Right.
That's why it still sounds really good
Yeah,
and quite clear
yeah.
as well.
Yeah. So
But,
talking of
yeah,
bass,
yeah.
talking of bass, that leads me very nicely into side 2.
Of course, yeah.
Of the Lexicon of Love.
What we're meant to be doing, reviewing the record.
Yeah, reviewing the vinyl. So, yeah, a little bit of technical stuff there. So, side 2 opens with ABC's probably best known single. It was the third single released on the album. Got to number 4 in the UK. Did even better in the US, the Billboard charts, Canada and France. Got to number 1, The Look of Love.
That is impressive.
Do you know that track? You know that track?
I think I know that
You
track.
know that track,
The
yeah.
Look of Love.
The Look
That
of
one.
Love. That's the
do
one.
know it.
Yeah.
So,
So,
how did this relate to your past,
well,
your mid-teens?
now let me tell you an interesting story about
Who
the
did
look
you
of...
quote the lyrics to this time?
I didn't actually.
This is the question
I
I'm
didn't
going to ask
actually.
you every week,
No,
by the way.
no.
Oh,
well,
and
no, well, the lyrics only ever got quoted the once.
that was the only time
That
you
was the
ever
only
quoted
time.
lyrics
Yeah,
at
yeah,
someone.
yeah. I learnt my lesson
Okay.
pretty quickly. So I didn't do it again.
Oh, okay.
But I can tell you an interesting story about The Look of Love.
That's why we're here.
So
Send it.
So at the time, Trevor Horn was pretty big on like the US remixing scene. So the US had got into this. People were doing remixes. So when you bought a 12-inch, an extended single,
Yeah.
very often they would do a remix of it, and to make it longer and fill in the longer play gap. And Trevor Horn had got into the way that US were doing it, and at the time, hip hop was just coming out with like scratching.
Yeah.
And loops and stuff like that.
Okay.
So they released a 12-inch US remix of The Look of Love with all sorts of loops and scratching and stuff on it.
Oh.
So I got a copy of this.
You have it?
I don't have it now. I don't know what happened to it.
You
And
lost
I'm gutted because it's probably worth quite a lot of money. And we at some point we will do a special podcast about how vinyl works and the values of it and so on and so forth.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
Yeah. But for this one, so I thought, I tell you what, I could do that. I'm going to make my own remix.
No.
What?
You're telling me you tried to scratch your own version?
I tell you what, you should hear it. Somewhere I've made a cassette of it. Somewhere there's a cassette recording, and I will dig it out and we will play it on the channel.
Okay.
But I created my own special
I've got another
Basilisk
idea.
remix.
I've got another idea for a podcast special then.
What, we're going to make a remix? We're going to make one live on air
We could do that as well.
in the way that I made it.
Yeah.
So we're going to need 4 tape decks
We'll get whoever's in the charts and we'll just scratch them.
We're going to take... I'm going to need 4 tape recorders, because that's what I did. So what I did was...
Waltham.
Oh, if I could get a Waltham Music Centre. I looked on eBay, but there was one, but it had gone.
Really?
I was like, I would have bought that. I would have travelled.
That was the one you had when you were younger.
Yeah. I've remembered now who I sold it to as well. So anyway,
yeah.
So
you scratched your own version.
So what I did was, so first of all I needed the drum track. So in the US remix, there's a section where everything else fades out and there's just the drum loop, or the drum track. It's not a loop, it's actually the drum track, because it's the drum plays all the way through it. But it was a section of about 30 seconds of just the drums. So what I did was I got my tape player, held it next to the speaker, on pause. When the drum track started on its own, unpaused it, recorded that 30 seconds, pause, lifted the needle up, put it back, did it again. So I kept lifting the needle, moving, and I kept recording that 30-second drum clip.
That sounds awful.
It was fantastic. The quality was incredible.
Rubbish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It glitched because don't forget, on an analog tape recorder, the pause button, you never quite get it. When you let go, it doesn't...
Oh, there's like delay till it starts recording.
It's probably only about a second, but it's there.
I love the idea of you recording the start of the loop, misses, and there's just you in the background going, fuck, oh, shit.
So it'd be like, shit. And you're like, so I thought, well, if I get that 1 second every time, actually it'll sound like that's how it should be.
So you deliberately tried.
So I did that,
made it into
and I got
5/4.
I got one tape recorder with the drum track on, and then I played bits of the record that I liked on another tape.
Yeah.
And then I tried to get it timed, so I pressed one recorder playing the drum track, and then set off the next tape recorder with the bits of the record that I liked playing along with the drum track.
God. And
then I did some scratching on another tape recorder, and then I recorded the whole lot on the fourth one.
That is awful.
And there's one section where I really lost it, and I just span the record backwards really, really fast. And it goes.
Can you do that?
Yeah.
This is something I always wondered. Were you never afraid of damaging the record, the vinyl?
I didn't think you could, because I didn't know
They were invincible.
I didn't know about the fissure. Rock fissure.
Right.
That you just explained to me. Which now that you've told me, explains an awful lot about some of my vinyls. Why?
If you did it that hard, I don't know, because I mean, professional DJs who still DJ vinyl probably.
Yeah, I mean they all scratch, but I think.
But some of them also use laser ones.
Yeah, no, I think though you probably more chance of destroying the stylus or the needle on the arm of the record player than. Because they were like little diamond tipped, some of them.
They're just consumer ones, aren't they?
Yeah. Whereas, but I have got vinyl albums I've played so much that the actual needle now won't stay in the groove.
Really?
Yeah. Because I've played them so many times.
Wow.
But we'll come on to those albums in future podcasts. So, The Look of Love.
This wasn't one of them, though.
This wasn't. No. I mean the sleeve's battered, but the record plays. And it still plays handsomely well.
Nice.
So, Look of Love
Yep.
is the first track on side 2. Moves very neatly into Date Stamp. Now, Date Stamp, great song. I would like to quote some of the lyrics, but I'm not sure about the copyright laws on that.
You can quote lyrics. Yeah.
I can't. I should have highlighted them on here, shouldn't I? Well, I shouldn't have got a highlighter pen and like scrawling on my lovely, glossy cover.
Can I quote lyrics?
So, yeah. So now I'm frantically looking for. So we'll cut there, and then we'll come back in a second when I find what I'm looking for.
I don't think we are going to do that. That's called filling airtime. Is what we were meant to be doing.
Oh, I can't find the bit I'm looking for.
You're looking for the lyrics of Date Stamp?
Yeah. But I haven't got my glasses on.
I don't even know this song. Should I? Is it a big song of theirs?
It's great. Anyway, I'm not going to bother with it. Oh, what I wanted to say, we're talking about 12 inches. So that is the 12-inch of The Look of Love.
You're showing the camera. So
I'm showing it. Sorry, yeah.
If you're watching a video,
for the Spotify listeners out there, I'm actually showing the 12-inch lovely glossy red sleeve of the Look of Love 12-inch. And on the reverse, it tells you it's from the Lexicon of Love. And actually, this has got 4 parts on it. This has got the 4 parts. Look of Love Part 1, Part 2, Part 3 and Part 4. But Date Stamp, absolutely cracking, dancey single. Get the vinyl, listen to it, and you'll love it. And then, oh my goodness. So, just having to lean down there because we go into side 2, track 3. For me, this is one of the most finely crafted songs of all time. Ever. All of My Heart.
That's a big... what's the word? Claim.
Big claim. It's up there with Goldfinger.
Yeah.
Rio.
If you didn't already know that you're a massive James Bond fan.
And I'm gonna.
Okay.
So if you are listening on Spotify, I'm now holding up. It's so good. I bought it twice.
So this is
two
copies
of the 7-inch single
of
The Look of Love.
No, that's not The Look of Love.
I mean, All of My Heart.
There we go.
And one of them actually came with a special colour postcard.
Oh, a special colour postcard.
Now, All of My Heart. I tell you what, if you ever want to hear a song that captures the essence of John Barry, the guy who composed all the orchestration for all the early James Bond films.
Yeah.
This song does it. It is absolutely stunning. It's melancholy in a bittersweet way.
Wow.
Yeah. So
what a description.
it's melancholy.
How long did it take you to think of that? I
Well,
imagine
it's there.
20 minutes before this you were going, how can I describe All of My Heart? Bittersweet something. What is that something? Melancholy. It's bittersweet. And then suddenly a turtleneck arose. You had a turtleneck and wide frame glasses on and you went, yes, I have succeeded in describing all of my love.
It's melancholy in a bittersweet way.
Wow.
This was the song that I played over and over again when she broke up with me.
Oh, okay. So harking back to Poison Arrow.
This was the angst song. This was the song.
This was the epitome of your 15-year-old life.
Yeah, I just said it all. So the opening lines are, once upon a time when we were friends, I gave you my heart. The story ends.
And that's what happened.
Happy ever after. Now we're friends.
Oh.
So there's a little bit of a little bit of like...
You were like, this relates... This is me.
Yeah.
You're singing about me.
Yeah, but we weren't friends.
Well, you must have been at some point.
No, I don't. I think we probably were years and years and years later, but...
Well.
So, All of My Heart, it's soaring strings. The lyrics are incredible. And the tune is fantastic. I'm sure a lot of people will know the song. Hopefully, we've got a bit of it playing in the background. But if we haven't...
Then it goes like this. Take it away.
I am not going to sing it. I'm not Martin Fry.
It has a really nice little drum thing in the intro. And it goes like...
Yeah, it does.
Ding, 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 ding. That's it, isn't it?
Fretless bass. Oh, you got me going now.
Is that what that was?
Yeah, that was my impression. That's my impression of a fretless bass.
I thought you were a singing Cockneyman. Oh no!
Well, let's just hold that there because we are going to have in future podcasts. We are going to have
Cockneys on.
We've got the 80's Cockney special.
What?
Yeah, we've got the Pearly King Sings. We're going to have a couple of features called the Pearly King Sings, and we've got a Pearly King coming in to sing some 80's tracks for us. Looking forward to it. What? I don't understand why you're laughing.
This is a joke.
No,
You've actually found a Pearly King, and you've said, "Come in
How dare you?
and sing for us."
Yes.
I know what it's going to be.
What?
I know what this is going to be.
What is it going to be?
It's going to be you setting up this camera we've got here, but you're going to cut one half of it and record yourself on the other half in a weird outfit with loads of pearl buttons sellotaped to it or something.
I
with a big hat.
I cannot believe.
And you're going to have that on there. So on the screen, if you're watching YouTube, you can see 2 in the same spot, but you're going to record yourself on one and record yourself on the other and pretend to have a conversation with yourself.
Why on earth would I do that?
Because you always tell me that you're a pearly king and you do the weird accent.
Where have you got that from?
This is a fact. This is the first real fact of the podcast.
Track 4, side 2, is called Forever Together, and it's actually spelt. It's the number. Where is it? It's on. We can see it on here.
Yeah,
We actually
I
see
can
it.
see it on your notepad.
Yeah, and it says, "Look, Forever Together."
Forever Together. I pointed this out before we started because I was looking at the list of them. That's quite a mod. Or at least I thought it was quite a modern thing to do to spell with numbers.
I did as well. I didn't know that they would. That was a kind of thing that was done then. So Forever Together, and it's quite clever to say they actually use it. Repeat it here. Look, forever together, for years to come, for love too strong, for us to part. Forgive and forget, for goodness sake.
Wow, so the numbers are used for every 4 and 2.
Yeah.
That's very odd.
So it's not a new thing. It was done in the 80s, as everything was. See, everything you're doing now, we did it before in the 80s.
I don't think that's true.
I think it is.
I don't think it is.
I think it is.
Okay, well at some point I'll show you some music that probably wasn't around in the 80s.
But it was. I mean, even Skrillex admits that he was influenced by Kraftwerk. His major influence was Kraftwerk.
He might have been influenced by it, but that music
80s.
didn't exist, did it?
You can't get away from it. You can try as much as you like. It's there. It's fact.
No, at some point I'm going to play you some songs and we'll test that theory.
And then side 2 closes with a short orchestral piece, The Look of Love Part 4, which is on the 12-inch.
Yeah.
And it's just a straight orchestra playing the theme of The Look of Love. And that closes the Lexicon of Love.
Wow. You're looking at me like you want a reaction.
Yeah, I do, because I want you to woo, woo. So that wasn't the reaction I was looking for. It was more of, that sounds like it's an album I'd like to go out and buy type of reaction was what I was looking for.
It kind of is. I mean, we don't buy records anymore. We listen to them on Spotify, so I might.
But no, this is the whole point. Is what I want you to encourage you to do is to get out there,
and
hunt one down, because you can buy vinyl at car boot sales, on eBay, jumble sales.
That's the best place to get them.
There are now loads of little record shops popping up all over the place that only sell vinyl. Is it that bad?
Oh yeah. These ones that came out in the 80s, they won't be selling now in new shops.
No, of course they are.
They're not being reprinted. So
but they go out and buy.
There's only a limited amount of these.
Exactly, but they are out there, and if you go looking for them, you can find them. And this is the whole point of this is try and explore and get out there and find them. Best places, car boot sales. Car boot sales you can pick up some great bargains.
Yeah.
And all the car booters will be hiking up all their vinyl prices, won't they?
I guess so.
Because they'll say, "Oh, we've heard that. Don't you forget about the 80s? That Sable Bass."
Oh, right, from this. Yeah, of course. And they'll all get medals and stick them on the front. Recommended by Sable Bassino. By the what was it? Don't you forget about the 80s. I almost said never mind the 80s.
Oh!
That's a rival. That's our enemy podcast.
Yeah.
We hate them.
So that's it for this week's podcast.
Next week.
Get out there, and if you can, get hold of some vinyl and just have a chance of listening to it. You'll notice a really big difference in the way that you listen to music. It's just the whole aesthetic of it, the handling, and that warmth of sound. So it just leads me to say,
I was going to say before that, I think if people manage to go out and actually get one of these, or they've already got them at home, this record in particular, send a picture in.
Yeah, share it with us. We'd love it.
Share it, or even
love it. Yeah,
add a comment. Just say, check this out. I've got it as well.
What do
you think about it?
And what we really want is share with us your stories of what that music means to you. Because people who listen to this will always have a story connected
Everyone's
to it.
got a story about
Everyone's
that
got a
record.
story, yeah. So, and
I like that better, actually. I like that.
if you're
better.
happy, we'll share them on the podcast.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
We would love to. We would love to hear your stories.
Make them funny.
And or melancholy or bittersweet
Shut
melancholy. And we will endeavour to share them on the podcast. And yeah. So that just leaves me to say a great big thank you to Jake.
Yep.
For co-hosting another podcast.
As always.
Back next week with another one. The next review will pop up at the end of this. And it just leaves me to say that if you enjoyed this, please give us a thumbs up. And if you want to hear more, or you want to stay in touch with what we're looking at and what we're talking about, please subscribe to the channel as well. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Send us a live video of you and your record.
That'd be awesome. That just suddenly came to me.